to the Nations Motocross from Valkenswaard in Holland. This sand track, mooted by many to be the most difficult for most of the European drivers. They're just not used to being in this kind of sand. Teams from all over the world, 24 teams, ranging from Australia right the way through to the champions, 10 times champions, I should say, the Americans. Pekka Verkonen there. This is a great event. The Dutch take their motocross very seriously indeed. And of course, at the moment, on the sandy track, reckon themselves to be favourites for this job. Confirmation of where we are, Valkenswaard in Holland for the Motocross Des Nations, 1991. Even the trooping of the colour is hard graft in the sand. Previous winners then, gives you a rundown of the last 6 times that we've been out. Last year's result, well, nothing too unusual there. The United States of America taking their 10th win. But the Belgians, the English and the Dutch have good teams here at Valkenswaard for this year's events. Huge crowd as ever. Well, there's 1 or 2 riders been banging their own drum this week. The Americans are confident, the Dutch are confident, and the Belgians only want to beat the Dutch, from some of the comments that were made. Practice really did just throw up that the track is very, very difficult indeed. There you can see the United States team. And the Belgians, Dirk Gurkens, Monique Bouverts and Stefan Everts. Sweden, Marcus Hansen, bit of a revelation in practice. Great Britain, Paul Mallon going very well indeed on the 500. Mitsui's Jamie Dobb and Rob Herring on the 125 Honda. The Dutch team, a strong Dutch team here. Gert Jan van Doorn, very quick on the 500. And the Germans, Roland Diepold, doing the business for them in practice. Danish team taking a slow cruise round in their Jeep. Even a team from Japan. A truly international event. Most commentators that have anything to do with motocross at all during the course of the year reckon to be this is one of the highlights of the year. Onboard cam. Helmet camera this, not fixed to the bike as in road racing, but actually on the rider. I wonder how long that'll last. Well, you can see there how much the track is rutting up already, and that's just after training. We've got 3 30-minute motos with plus 2 laps, of course. So 30 minutes plus 2 laps, an absolutely grueling task for all of these riders, right from 125 through to 500. You can see the hairpin there, 2 berms as he turns it in. So, what did Mike Kredowski have to say, the US rider?
You have seen the track yesterday. What do you think about it?
It's pretty good. I like the sand. It's starting to get a little bit rougher, and I think it's going to be a pretty good race, for everybody today on Sunday.
Everybody is expecting a fight between you and Stefan Everts. What are you expecting about it?
I think it's it's going to be a race against me and probably a few other guys. It depends, we might not even see each other through the whole moto, or we might be right behind each other. It depends how the 500s do, or, the 250s do, if there's some guys in between us. But, there's some other guys that are going really fast, too. He's not the only one we need to worry about.
Wat denk je, kun je Stefan Everts aan?
Well, Pedro Tractor, Dutch 125 man. Can you beat Stefan Everts with a question?
Ja, als hij er dan ook goed bij zit, dan is alles erop aangaan.
Yes, I can beat him, but it depends on the start.
En Mike Kredowski, wat denk je daarvan?
Kredowski is ook een hele goede rijder. Ook in
Mike Kredowski is quick, but was 2 seconds a lap slower than Stefan Everts in practice.
Maar ik denk dat als hij er ook goed bij zit met de start, dat hij ook goed mee kan draaien. Wat vind je van het circuit?
Stefan Everts then. Stefan Everts, the Belgian 125 rider.
Voor het Belgisch team. En ik denk dat we een hele goede kans.
How do you see your chances? I think we have a big chance, but the US and Dutch teams will be hard to beat.
De grootste concurrenten. Wel, ik denk de Nederlanders en de Amerikanen zijn de grootste. En we zijn de 5 beste resultaten en we zullen zien.
And on to Rob Heron.
Been on the track now. What do you think about it?
The track's very hard for the English riders, but I think we're all coping very well. It's pretty deep sand. It's very rough, but it's quite technical also.
What do you expect for the British team?
I think we all expect to have a good result. There are so many strong teams here that I think if we finish in the top 4, then we've done very well. But obviously we'd like to be in the top 3, so we're trying for top 3.
Well, Roland Diepold, the German 500cc rider, partnered by Jochen Jasinski and Peter Behrer, the 250 and 125 men respectively in the team. This man rides a 500 Kawasaki though.
Is das gut für dich, das Sand?
Ja, ich habe normalerweise immer Probleme gehabt in Sand, aber ich glaube, dieses Mal haben wir etwas getestet am Sand und ich glaube, dass es ganz gut passt.
Well, Roland says the German team are having trouble in the sand because they don't have sand tracks like it in Germany.
Ja, ich denke, dass wir vielleicht unter den ersten 6 sind.
He expects the team to be in the top 6 of the proceedings at the end of the day.
Seen the track yesterday. What do you think about it?
It's really difficult. They have put a lot of water on it, many spores and fast. It's not so easy.
What do you think for your country? What place can you make?
I think we have good chance, you know. In Finnish riders are good in sand, and now this year we have a strong team. We try to get top 3.
Now for yourself, what place do you think you can make?
I think I try to make first place, but it's not so easy. But I think if everything is going well, start, I can maybe chance to do it.
Well, the Finnish team man there, Pekka Vagonen, and we're on the grid for the start of race 1, which is the 125s and 500s. So let's have a look and see what who makes the whole shot here. 125.12 there, that's Andrea Bartolini, the Italian on a 125 Suzuki, you can see in your foreground. And they're off. So many motorcycles, so many world teams into the first turn. And it's 7, that's an absolute flyer from Marcus Hansen, the 500 Kawasaki rider. Well, Hansen absolutely got the whole shot there, didn't he? Right from the start. As the gate dropped, they flew into the lead. Well, Marcus Hansen, a surprise in practice and living up to that from the start. So then, on the first lap, we have Marcus Hansen leading. Well, a tough track, and it's only going to get worse as the conditions deteriorate through the 3 motos of today. Marcus Hansen then, number 7 for Sweden, leading the first moto of Motocross Nations 1991. 14 to Gert-Jan van Doorn, the Dutch 500 Honda rider. He'll be looking to try and do good in his home country. Obviously, pretty good on sand. Dutch riders have quite a few sandy tracks. But look at the lead that this man, Marcus Hansen, the Swede, has already got sorted out for himself. 23 there, that is Roland Diepold, the German, on a 500 Kawasaki in second place. You can see the signalers there. Not that they'll need too much. So on the first lap, 7 leads. That is Marcus Hansen from 23. That is Roland Diepold from 29. That is Gert Lundqvist, the Finnish rider, from 14. That is Gert-Jan van Doorn. From 17, Paul Mallin, the Brit, is up there in 5th place. 6th is Dirk Gurkins, the Belgian 500 rider. And 7th is Jeff Stanton, so watch for Jeff Stanton. Well, race leader Marcus Hansen, the Swede, not being caught very quickly yet. Certainly made the whole shot and making the most of what he can from there. British hopes in the background there. So, second place man, through your camera now. 23, that's Roland Diepold. Jeff Stanton there, making up room. Oh, dear me, gets his nose taken completely off the front of him by Paul Mallin. Well, the British Kawasaki rider. Of course, Kawasaki Britain at the moment quite pleased with themselves because this man, Paul Mallin, was picked, number 17, battling at the moment with Jeff Stanton. He was picked in place of Dave Thorpe, who is obviously moving on in motocross to run his own team next year. So that'll please Alec Wright back at Kawasaki that Mallin is going so good on the 500. So there is Mallin holding off Stanton still. So Mallin, superb stuff from him, absolutely going for it. Well, Valkenswaard, a challenge, a tough challenge, I have to say. 30 minutes plus 2 laps each of these motos. And you can see the state they're getting in the sand. It's very, very rutted here. .44 there going through your picture. That was Takayuki Hayuchi, the Japanese Honda rider. My pronunciation doesn't get better with road racing or motocross, but I do try. So 7 still leads. Marcus Hansen, the Swede, on a 500 Kawasaki. Jeff Stanton though now still battling away, trying to catch up Paul Mallin on the Kawasaki. Well, Stanton, one of the favoured men, recovering from his absolute thrashing by Jean-Michel Bayle at the Du Parc Supercross 2 weeks ago here in Paris. He'll be keen to redress the balance for America. Remember, America have won this contest 10 times, the last 10 times in succession. 34 there, moving to one side like a true gentleman, is Joel Lumens from Luxembourg on a 125 Honda. Meanwhile, well, look at Paul Mallin up into second place and challenging for the lead. 7 there is Marcus Hansen. 17 is Paul Mallin, the Brit on the Kawasaki. And right in his wheel tracks is one of the favourite Americans, Jeff Stanton, on the Honda. So Kawasaki leads Honda, and look at Stanton challenging and goes past the pair of them into the... Oh, well... He didn't actually mess around too much there, did he? Jeff Stanton then blasts into the lead. Mallin finds himself in third place now as Jeff Stanton goes from third place to first in one turn. Brilliant riding from the American. Well, absolutely stretching. Jeff Stanton leads the first leg of 3. Paul Mallin then in second place for Great Britain. In third place now is 7. Marcus Hansen, the Swede, finds himself relegated. Well, it's a tough track and it's going to be a survival of the fittest, if I can spit my words out. And they don't come much fitter than Jeff Stanton. 14, that is Gert-Jan van Doorn, now a much favoured Dutchman. Let's see what this man can do. Currently in 4th place, as our graphic shows you. Well, I don't think we could go as far as saying he's a specialist. I'll try and avoid that particular word, but he is in Holland. It's Dutch. Oh, and Mallin finds himself on the top of the berm, and the front just washes out from underneath him. A disaster there for Mallin. Well, that's going to cost him dearly, there's no doubt about that. Very, very unfortunate indeed. Petrakova, Czech rider on a Honda, finds himself tangled up in that, but the disaster indeed was for second place man Paul Mallin. He's losing places hand over fist. Well, really, that is a disaster. Stefan Everts then, Suzuki 125 Belgian rider, superb rider, absolutely superb. This is a man I could watch at motocross all day or supercross all day. Stefan Everts, 125 Suzuki, leading currently the 125 section of this race. Remember, we have 500s and 125s out in one race. 5th currently, Dirk Gukens, the other Belgian. So Belgium scoring very well at the moment in this race. Belgium scoring superbly well. Mind you, they were actually expected to do that. I'm just looking to see where we've got Mike Kridowski, the 125 part of the US team. I'm looking for him to see where he is currently. Watch for Kridowski, it makes a major thing. So then, race win for Jeff Stanton. There you have the actual overall race win. Standing so far, now that has a major thing. They actually dropped one of the races of the 6 at the end of the day, so their worst score is dropped. It's always the mathematician's nightmare. US scoring very well there. It's the man with the least points, or the team with the least points at the end of the day. That's Jeff Stanton. So there we have. We're going to go to an interview now with Jeff Stanton.
It went okay. I mean, bad start, not so good start, but came through and got in the front and did what I could.
No difficulties on the way in the heat?
I mean, there's always
while Jeff Stanton explains what's going on, we're going to go to a short break. Join us again in a moment.
Eurosport.